Club Championship update.
Yeah, we've had a few progressions here and there. Weibo Gaming are the reigning champions, and they've managed to claw their way through two real tough games, to be fair. It's been close, 2-2-1, so they've managed to get to day 3 of the competition into that knockout phase. It's going to be tough for them, though. AGAL managed to get some points on the board as well, joining them through to that third day. So they're catching up on the heels of Vitality at the moment, only 100 points behind them. And speaking of Vitality as well, they've been struggling on our stage. They're down to the lower bracket. They're looking a bit shaky here. And they've guaranteed themselves that minimum 200 points as well.
So the trend that I'm seeing for this week is that we actually have a lot of our big CC heavy hitters in a lot of these titles. So we're going to be keeping track of everything, how it all progresses, because I think this is going to be really impactful overall for the leaderboard. So, of course, we'll check back in with all of you later.
Well, Glitter, AGL was trying to continue on that hype train, but that last game didn't end up going their way. It did end up going the way of JDG, which coming into this match, they were in last place, I believe, with just 8 points. A great bounce back out of JDG.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good start for JDG, but I mean, it's still their first day, right? So realistically, they have little room to grow. Even some of the teams that aren't doing as well today, they have some space, but I mean, time is going to run out for some of the teams that we're about to talk about.
Yeah, one of those teams being none other. I mean, we got to talk about the Group A. We're going now into the final match. We're going into pretty much make it or break it from the squads. AGL being one of those, Full Sands being one of those as well, and many more other squads in that list.
Yeah, I think we got all those teams that are on the big race as we honor JDG for their win up there. But that kill count, I think, says the name of the game. Suze makes some nice big plays, but it's not going to be enough for these guys. And I think the teams that did have enough, you heard AGAL, they're a team that's in the hunt right now. Sure. And for the Club Cup as well, I think they've hit a point where if they can just get like 5 or 6 points out of this game, they're in good shape. And I think also you got like Vitality in the same boat as they grind up as well. They just need to have sort of an average game here to put themselves in a less stressful position, I think, Godspeed.
Yeah, and they definitely had a much better day today, just like AGL, right? Which is ironic because they're two clubs that really need that as well. So putting those points, that's huge. They still have 1 game left. Now remember, our cutoff last year was just at 63 points, and we are getting close. We now look at these highlights. Disgusting sprays here coming out of Tyloo, which...
Oh, Tyloo!
Tyloo is... I'm gonna be honest. I'm just gonna call it. I don't think they're gonna qualify.
I agree. I'd say Ty Little to Ty Late. You know what I'm saying? But let's talk about this Ty Lee, if you will, as he has been twice now this sort of solo survivor. He plays this backstab, absolutely negates Navi's ability to get into it, doubles the chance for Heather to make this sort of big stab and gets T1 deeper into this one. But more importantly, I think breaks apart the two teams who had a chance to dislodge JDG in the end game. So if JDG wants to thank anyone for that win, I would give it to Tyloo.
And honestly, T1 as well. T1, even though it is their first day, their performance today has been great, Lace.
Yeah, I know. I've been sort of matching up like the T1 Falcons narrative, and the reason for that is because every time T1 comes into contention with Falcons, T1 is sort of taking over the top. It is a crazy narrative from them, and time and time again, they're facing our EWC champions, and they are winning. Heather and End both have more individual kills than Tiggs and Kickstart at the moment, and this rivalry goes beyond PUBG, as T1 are actually actively succeeding in their sabotage mission to deny championship points for the Falcons. And I mean, coming in with that third place as well just bumps up their average even more. I mean, 3.2 average for their placement points and 7.4 for their eliminations. And that's well above Falcons at 1.25 and 5 for their eliminations. So, you know, this kind of rivalry is pretty dangerous.
I mean, it's funny because you think T1, like, from the organization's perspective, like, we're glad that you're hurting them, right? And, like, from T1's perspective in-game, they're like, any chance to see a Falcon limping, I have to go after, right? Because they become so strong potentially. They have a lot of upside. And I think any chance you can take to slow them down. Now, the king here is Heather. He has been unstoppable. We've seen multiple moves where they send him out by himself, and he walks away with 2 or 3 points strapped to his belt.
Even if he's the one that's surviving last as well, we saw that happen with the BRDM play early on with Falcons, running them over and then finish them off with the nade as well. But for some of the other squads, we saw a nice bounce back too from VP in this last game, Godspeed.
Yeah, I mean, VP is already safe, right? But at this point, they're just continuing to play how they should, right? Instead of stepping off the gas and being like, hey, we already qualified, why would we need to play harder? I like that they're just continuing to practice, because they're going to need that practice going into the finals for sure.
Exactly. I mean, that practice is going to come into play. When you're thinking about that practice, some of the squads that are starting to, we really haven't seen a consistent day-to-day out of Falcons. When we think about it, you were just talking about it too, Lace. We did see the confidence come out in that interview that they ended up doing with Kalaris. But at what point, especially going into tomorrow, do we maybe start waving a flag, a red flag of just I don't know. It's not looking good.
For who?
For Falcons.
Oh, okay, so that last send made me really worried. Okay, we're calling a spade.
I love how you looked at me for that, by the way.
Well, I was hoping you would be the mean one. So here, at the end of the day, here's what it is. I agree with Shrimzy's first assessment in that interview that they haven't necessarily had bad calls. It was just bad situations. And I'm not saying that last one was a bad call, but that send, they had to make a choice. Do we sit on the end and do we fight Tyloo, or do we make this big push? I think, was it Tyloo?
It was Tyloo.
It was Tyloo.
It was, in fact.
Do we make a big send towards the middle? Arguably a winning position. You know, T1 is sitting on it, but it's way riskier. And when you're in 13th and you're desperate for points, I feel like the edge is the move. But I'm not here to judge. I'm just saying, like, I'm starting to stress out over what I'm seeing.
Okay. I'm glad I'm not the only one, Godspeed.
No, I mean, I will never lose faith in those boys. But, I mean, you have to look, when we're talking about T1 and Falcons, you know, kind of being rivals, you're mentioning all these. It's hard to have a rival when you're T1 and you're just blasting past them, right? T1 also bullied the heck out of 4EM, which we're going to see tomorrow in PGS. So when I look at T1's performance, I expected Falcons to somewhat be around that level, even though T1's having a great time, but they just couldn't get it done.
Yeah, I mean, the altercation between them too, like, it's just setting that standard, and Falcons are just not reaching that, unfortunately. But look, yeah, I'm still a believer in faith, Toffees. I'm on your side here. We got the faith for tomorrow. But yeah, it's now at this point, and, you know, you were saying, like, oh, you know, you have a couple of bad PUBG, but it's been kind of bad all today. So look, tomorrow has to be an insane performance for them. And, you know, even if we look lower down at this leaderboard, you know, I was touching on NAVI before, saying, you know, they started kind of really super strong in this start, but something fell off for them, and they're not making these plays. They were sort of being that aggressive, and I was saying, throwing stuff at a wall and letting it stick, but now it just seems like a little bit falling off.
Yeah, just to remind everybody, we're going now into the final match for Group A. They will not be playing tomorrow. So for all those squads that you're currently looking at, VP, I mean, we mentioned it, Godspeed just said it, that squad is looking like it's going to be going to the finals, and they're pretty much set. AGAL and some of the other squads like Shadow Esports, they're still in that cups that if they could have a nice maybe 5 points or 7 points, they could end up securing that final spot.
I just want to point this out because I think it's insane, is that we've played some of these teams. 8 teams have 11 games played. Only one of them has passed Made in Thailand and Twisted Minds. Second and third place still are teams that have 6 games ahead of them. What that does mean, though, is that the cutoff tomorrow potentially drops significantly, because that means those 2 teams come in and can kind of sort of sap those points up there on the top and maybe drive someone a little bit higher.
I think Myth is genuinely the wild card of tomorrow. How many points do they come in and absolutely just soak? 4EM also had a pretty decent day as well. And so when we look at Group B, and Twisted Minds could also come in, soak a bunch of points. GAM, they had 50 points in one day as well. So all these teams, if you are on the cusp, if you are towards the bottom of the leaderboard, you are biting your nails and you want to get as many points in this last game as possible. Otherwise, your chances of going to the grand finals are just cooked.
Yes, for these teams, I mean, we gotta repeat it. Shadow Esports, Tyloo, DNA Supers as well. We've seen them being able to kind of spark up, but they just haven't been able to go and get those kills. They haven't been there. The proactiveness to try to get it to the finals with just making sure that they go for those kills is just not there. But it's gonna come down to this final match for those teams in Group A. Can they do enough to get enough points to make it to the finals, or is it just gonna be too little, too late?
One match left to determine who from Group A will be going on, or they can do as much as they can to set themselves up for tomorrow. We'll find out what that cut line is looking like a little bit closer after this one is done, but there are some teams that are still sweating going into this final map on Erangel.
8 teams with just 1 game to go, and we're going to be going back to the absolute most historic map. And it's going to be an absolutely insane plane path. Let's look at it.
Look, I tell you this right now, Martin. We were talking last game about how many alt drops you see on these southern plains. This is another one where this compound, just on this western side of Sosnovka Island, has about 6 teams that have claimed it as their alt drop, and this is a far, far south plain. So this is going to be interesting. We'll see if any teams decide to drop onto each other there. We might see some early combat here, considering how far south this plane is.
I'm surprised we don't see more teams going onto the military island. We've seen so many of these plane paths where we have a either full military circle or a 50-50 military circle or 50-50 ferry pier military circle. Wow. So I'm surprised I don't see any more going really deep south, or even trying to take a car and go and just loot some of the scrap on the southern side. But yeah, let's see how that evolves. Yeah. We have Vicious there, we have JD, we have DN Supers. Let's talk about the teams that are on the cusp here, though.
Let's do it.
We have Group A, it's Virtus Pro, Tyloo, AGAL, Vitality, Supers, Full Sense, Petrichor Road, and Shadow Esports with their last game today. The team with the least points, though, out of those is Petrichor Road on 36. Absolutely shocking. And look at that circle. That's actually going to make it quite easy for most of the teams, unless we have a southern hardship.
That's honestly about as best as these guys could have hoped for, considering how far south that plane was. I think everybody was thinking Military Island. Unfortunately, it looks like it's not going to go that direction. So we'll see if Petrichor Road actually getting a little bit close here to AGAL off the drop. And they're going to lose 04MB, and that is awful news for Petrichor Road when they have so much left to play for here. Now they got to do it as a trio.
Yeah. We might have to call the agency.
They got to go for his chip, right? Like they have to.
Yeah, have to. Yeah. But
there's no other option. You have to do it if you're gonna try to make a run here.
That they're gonna have to do that, and you know, I don't see Petrichor Road making it. Like they're gonna have a 10-kill chicken dinner to lock this in to get to 56 points. It's just going to be pretty much impossible for them, having lost one. And sure, they can go for it, but are they going to think, okay, are they going to camp it, or are they going to do something funny about it? Because AGL is already qualified, to say, with the 61 points that they have now. I think, as Toffee's mentioned on the desk, we're going to have a lower cutoff. We're going to see Myth and Twisted Minds go absolute ballistic tomorrow. They're probably going to try to breach that triple digits. T1 trying to get into SNI here and getting some loot. They're going to have no priority inside the circle. They're going to be getting in really late. Starting to loot at the 3-minute mark. That's usually where a lot of the other early teams, they start moving from their loot to try to get some of the high priority. Look at that, though. Vitality enhancing. Shots comes in, and Vitality and Levante, the big fragger of the team, finds another point for Vitality. And they're now on 63 points. That is massive for Vitality here on home turf.
That is huge. And it's great news for Levante, too, as he has been the victim a couple of times of going down early to something like that happening. So, again, another team that could definitely use a few more points to feel a little bit safer here. Shadow Esports only 54. They're going to have to hope that that cut line is a little bit lower, but it looks like Vitality starting to kind of loop around and see if they can spot out the rest of these Shadow players. Quizzy going for the US. I don't think he knows that Setsuna is there. Setsuna will try to go for the spray, gets him down to half HP, but Vitality will leave. Yeah, Levante reading that, and good cover there from Quizzy to make sure that Setsuna can't just free fire at him.
Yeah, that was well played. Oh, shots comes in from that Dragon. Big shots, potentially. Some headshot put them really low, but yeah, they're just gonna dip and dive out of it. So many teams, you know, outside the circle trying to just be the big white shark in the water. And now Gen.G tries to go for a actually pretty early E-pick up here and trying to maybe find some control inside the circle here. I like this play from them. And if it wasn't for that last game, they would have been dead last so far. 27 points now for them. They just need a little bit more. And they're going to have everything on the table for tomorrow. We also have to talk about Tyloo. 42 points. That's not going to be enough in my book. They're going to need 10, maybe even 13 points more. Cut off in what I could expect and see here. 50 points, maybe 55 points, depending on what happens tomorrow. If we have a big you know, game from both Myth and Twisted Minds, it's going to be lower, but if they don't, and if they just go out and have fun with it, then the middle pack's just going to be so tight.
Cutting back over here to Petrichor Road. I've been keeping an eye on this. They've been doing a little bit of a chess match, a little psychological warfare going on here between Petrichor and AGAL, but they will get that chip, which is great news for them. They have Razak for free, should get that revive off very easily, and Razak's still inside zone, so they can afford to take the time to get him back and get him looted up. Now, they had the north pretty much to themselves, but it looks like Vitality doing the long wraparound on the north side, north of the river. T1 also starting to creep over in this direction, but they're coming in on the south side of the river, so Petrichor Road will need to be on keeping eyes off to the east to make sure that T1 doesn't take them by surprise.
Absolutely. We're going to get that res off. 0-4 NB comes in. The Nightbane of Petrichor Road. They need this last player to make this happen. 36 points so far. One more game to go. In 30 minutes, we're going to know exactly where we end up with them. And if they're going to be flying home tomorrow or going to play in the final. Oh, Panzerfaust left for that. Now Falcons as well coming in this northeastern side into this circle here, Poro. Quite the space ahead of them, but if timing allows it, they could be driving straight into Petrichor Road or AGL.
All the timing right now is kind of weird for Petrichor Road because Chewy was sent to scout off to the south and he's returning back. It looks like he'll be able to get back to him. Petrichor Road, after they hit that revive spot, they immediately got on the move, which is good news because T1, as you see, has now made their entry into Razak after looting up in Yesnaya, but they're going to see the taillights of Petrichor Road. So Pero not going to have time to get loot up for 04MB, but 04MB already on the move. You can see he's coming back in as Petrichor Road still trying to find a spot to play. This might be a ruins, if anything else. AGAL already in position, and I think Petrichor Road knows it.
This could be very scary, both for T1 and for Petrichor Road, because AGL is just going to spring out and do some damage. Some drive-bys are happening now, though. T1 trying to get some damage done onto Petrichor Road, and they're shooting back as well. T1's drying around, Raining taking so much damage, down to 48 HP.
T1 has had a banger of a day so far for themselves. They'd love to be able to get a few more points here today, as EN will get taken down and flushed out by Falcons, so that'll be a point secured for the boys in green. But for T1, you have to imagine trying to get as many points as they can today, because when tomorrow arrives, they have an enemy entering the lobby that they have a lot of familiarity with in 4 a.m. That is going to be a major storyline for tomorrow. As you see, 04MB will land. Tiggleton taking shots from range, but it looks like he should be safe in Petrichor Road. Now back up to 4 strong.
Absolutely. 04MB just running for his life, trying to get a little bit of scraps of loot here that's on this higher ground of ruins, as the other guys trying to get some space ahead of them here. As this
Thank goodness for esports loot, right?
Absolutely, yeah. It's insane. Gonna have plenty of loot there for him. He's just gonna need some helmets. The other guy's gonna have the utility. And Vicious from that military island trying to get in with an E-pickup too. We're gonna have this circle pop though. Let's see where we do end up, Poro.
Yeah, it's a real AD pickup for Vicious. See where I mean, yeah, you can't blame him for it. Obviously, they're waiting for the circle to pop and be able to drop wherever it may go, and it's going to go on the mainland. Still hugging the coastline here. NAVI have their pick of the litter as far as places they want to play. AGAL also in a pretty decent spot, but a number of teams off to the west are all going to be running into each other right now, and it's immediately starting as you see a number, some more E pickups being popped up there by Gen.G. I don't think that they're going to end up taking that one. Salute just kind of holding the line.
Absolutely, so much is going to be happening on the western side here. Correctly goes down. Beamy returns the favor. Deal finds Beamy as well. DN Supers needs these points. They're on 48. They could be the cutoff team if they don't get more. And now they turn around here. Virtus Pro down to just 2 players. A red zone dead center as well. We're going to have such a absolute fiesta towards the late game here with so much cover being created. Tanava finds Tianchan. Sharper being engaged in 17. Lots of damage done here with agility as well.
Yeah, the top of Pachinki Hill getting a lot of love right now here between 17 and Sharper. See if they can get Tianchan back up. Gotta give credit to Supers immediately getting those 2 kills and flushes onto Virtus Pro and getting their knocked man in the trunk of the car and get him out of the danger zone. It looks like Vicious has arrived as well. Eyes in the skies will be taking shots at them, but all the people on the ground have maybe more important things to worry about, so that might be good news here for Vicious.
Jedi sees 17 shots, comes in, connects quite a lot, but the car is also providing cover. Jedi and Earthsapalui from Sharper trying to bend off 17. Look at that. Dogmai goes down as well from Vicious.
Did he get hit while he was in the air? I've always wanted to know if that could happen, if they were parachuting down, if he could get hit by a red zone bomb while in the air. But Dogmai finding out the hard way. It looks like he might have got hit while he on the ground, so they should be able to get the res. But VC do manage to get all boys onto the ground, and we'll see if they can reset. Now 17. Sharper, again, just being a really tough out here. But 17 able to get Tianchan back. They've got 4 men alive, and they've got the time right now to devote to finishing these guys off.
Bill goes with the push. Can he get Earthsapalui off this ridge here? Stun grenade applied. That's going to be huge. It's going to be a little bit too far here. Earthsapalui finds Xiaowu, gets another one, but Tianchan returns the favor to him.
That's a massive double knock, though, for Earthsapalui. That gives Jedi a little bit of time here, a little bit of room to work with, as he's going to throw a Molotov off in that direction, hope for the best, but Wembo is his primary concern currently as he continues to throw flashbangs over, and Wembo knows all I've got to do is just keep him distracted while these revives come through. He'll go ahead and rejoin the rest of his squad mates. Jedi gonna hop down because he hears the vehicles of Shadow Esports coming in right behind, and JDG now arriving as well. 17, they've got their backs up against the wall.
We're down to just Wenbo and Lil Ghost. They're going to have to fend this off. Zeus is knocked, but Wenbo gets found from the top, turns around, damage towards December 12th, but Jexy also gets involved. So much fights here, so many third parties. Shao is going to be flushed here by December 12th.
Look at this Vitality now. They see all this going on. They're going to finish off Lil Ghost, and that's going to do it for 17 Gaming. Vitality just roaming around just below the hillside. They hear all the gunshots. They see all the smokes. Let's see if they decide to go up there and get involved. Doesn't look like they will. Gedrox will just go for position. Full sense, though. They are in a good spot here to maybe do a little bit of gatekeeping.
17th out in
on there.
Yeah, absolutely. 17 out in 16th place here means they're going to end the day on 23 points. It's probably the lowest I've ever seen 17 Gaming on at an international level. Benadol with the MG3 in hand, the bullet hose. They decided to not take shots towards Shadow here, so they're going to be able to sit up towards the center of the zone.
Looks like Vitality is actually going to avoid all that as well and just continue down to the south. Meanwhile, Petrichor Road, they wrapped all the way from the northwest all the way to the southeast. We'll see how much longer they can stay alive as Shadow Esports are just dug in. See if you can hear them just getting peppered. I think that's Full Sense mostly taking shots over in that direction. As Full Sense now have control over the west. They do have Jedi on the top of the hill, and that's about the only problem that they have to worry about.
Yeah, as we have the final match here on the Qiddiya City grid for the Battle Royale stage at Esports World Cup 2026. You see live from Paris, you see the nerves coming in from everyone. Levante finds Lucarux though. That's a big headshot with the MK. Chrissy gets the confirmation. And sure, Virtus Pro had a great day so far today. 85 points. Took them 11 games to get above mid.
A hell of a tournament so far for Virtus Pro, and they're down to just Nixie right now as Supers continue to clean out that compound. Meanwhile, Shadow is just expecting the push here from Full Sense. There you go, Nixie will go down. So Virtus Pro is eliminated. They will be comfortable and happy with their performance here for the first 2 days and can start thinking forward towards the final.
Gen.G also on only 16 points after 5.5 games is insanity. If you look at the names on that roster, Falcons here in the northern side, they're actually in there safe. Gustav is creating space around him on that eastern side, actually taking some of the great big compounds that's available as T1 is driving ahead of them. It's going to be quite congested towards the middle in some of these smaller dips. We have NAVI playing extremely aggressive, trying to hold down that compound with the big white building inside of it. Tigger finds Kamals from Shadow Esports as Full Sense approaches and engages. Look at that utility being committed to that. That's going to be a complete wipe of Shadow Esports from Full Sense.
There's just nothing you can do. If you get smoked off like that and you're not in a position to prevent them from getting into grenade range, you know what to expect, right? You know that these guys are just going to get within grenade range and just drop it right on top of your heads. And unfortunately, they had no better option than to stack on top of each other as the circle will pop. It's going to go dead center, Petrichor Road, right in the middle.
And they needed 36 points before this game started, Poro. And yeah, it could be the Patty situation with the burger all around them, and you don't want to be that. Look how many teams are trying to get close. Vitality actually getting and sniffing closer to the area here. D finds Quizzy. Gen.G also needs the points here. Levante also has been found. Heaven stole the point away, though, as Supers are playing their last game, too. They need the points. They need to try to get into this 55-plus terrain.
Oh, yeah, rough stuff for Vitality. They will survive for now under pressure from Vicious, keeping 2 alive. Regardless of what happens in this game, that 3 kills that they've gotten so far will bring them up to 65 points. You got to imagine that they're probably feeling comfortable here as we get a look at Rex finishing off young Nixie. Yep.
Boom.
Not what you want to see peeking around the corner is a guy with a Panzerfaust in hand.
Oh, you just think I'm dead. Tickleton finds Raining now. The T1 and Falcons, they just continue to fight throughout all the game here. Tig, can you get the confirmation as well? At least they know the information now. More shots, more knocks are coming in here as they try to approach it. I think he's trying to pick him up. Tig finds a knock and a flush onto T1. More points come the way of Falcons. He has more mortars in hand coming towards it.
He is able to just put them in their pocket right now. Gustav just giving them the readings, letting them know where they are as Type will, it's just kind of crawling around. The rest of T1 looks like they're going to hop into vehicles. Ian and Heather already on the move. Shrimsy tried to take the flanking angle to catch them as soon as they did, and T1, they're in trouble. Heather is going to go down, and there's going to do it for T1. They will go out early, but 43 points on the day. Not too shabby for old T1.
Not considering Tyloo after 11 games is on 42, so that is massive. Tyloo under a lot of pressure from Falcons now as they're going to have a scrappy fight on this northern side. Hackator finds Shrimsy, and now Tyloo's going to potentially try to steal that away from him. Yeah, Hackator actually gets the confirmation. That's huge from Navi. They also need the points, but they are dead center. They got hot cover to play around, so let's see how far they can take it in this game here for their campaign.
Tyloo in a really good position to be a problem. They've got a lot of work left to do if they want to try to feel a little bit more comfortable, considering that they were sitting on 20 points after 3 games today. They've managed to double that in the last 2 games, so hell of a job by Tyloo here to close things out. We'll see if they're able to clutch anymore as Gen.G Gaming just trying to survive under the shadows of AGAL bullets.
And it's just trying to create space here around the trees for cover. A little bit of a foxhole being dug out here as the face is closing. And 5 more seconds, we're going to see this next circle here. It's going to have such an impact. If we don't send her up, it's going to make and force teams to move. We've got everything. Yeah, it's going to be a slight donut, but Petrichor dead center. Can they capitalize from this circle luck?
Again, you bring up the problem as well as the benefit. Obviously, you get great luck. You're right in the dead center, but there's not hard cover there. There's not a compound. They're just hiding in the middle, and you can only be so aggressive from that position without putting yourself at major risk. And you see the mortar still falling over in Falcons territory, but Tig is going to return the favor.
Both Tyloo and Falcons are shooting mortars. Tig finds Kong.
Again, dude.
What a shot. Oh my God. And another one that's in a different position back to back. Trigonometry happening here. Lee returns the favor onto Kickstart. Can they capitalize? Can they make something happen here in the last game for Falcons?
They're getting too good with these mortars as Tig will avoid the gunshots from NAVI. Get to the ditch in time to go for the res onto Kickstart. Tyloo, though, they've gotten both of their men back on their feet. They might be able to send another mortar over in this direction as, no, it looks like they're going to try to reposition. I think maybe taking a little bit of damage, but Kickstart get him back on his feet. Tyloo, no kills despite, now he's back on it. We'll see if the Falcons can get out of that ditch before the mortars come again. Right on top. Oh, not going to find him this time.
That goes down as well. Gen.G finds points here. D is on a rip this game here. Tickleton with 3 kills so far. Flash finds Jedi. That is Sharper out in 12th place. It's going to be a little bit rough for them as well with 29 points just. They're going to be joining that mid-pack.
Oh, skies are alive with mortar fire right now, but it looks like it might calm down as Falcons will try to regroup, reposition, secure themselves on the spot here. Nice spray from Tig. Will take down one dragon as Tyloo. Their late game heroics might be put on hold here. Kong Kong and Hausker are the last 2 players left alive, and they are pushed right up against the wall. He will get the knock on a Kickstart, and that might open up a little bit of a door here for Tyloo.
Yeah, Kickstart's on the 2nd or 3rd knock here. He's bleeding out fast. 15 more seconds. I don't see them getting it. He's going to get flushed potentially here. Kong finds it. Hausker goes down to Fairest, and Tyloo is on a lot of pressure here. They're going to try to go for the rest. The circle is pressuring them. It's going to be closing in 30 seconds.
It's been a little bit of a slow day for NAVI as well. But they might be able to find some more points here in this final game. 4 alive, complete control over the East as Hausker is going to go down to Tiggleton. He'll get both of them. Tiggleton now up to 6 kills, putting the Falcons on his back here in the end as Gedrox gets the double knock onto Gen.G.
Gustav finds Delvin as well. Flash finds Tycon. There's so much pressure being applied on the western side here. A lot of teams are trying to approach it. Delvin's down. D gets flushed as well. Flash finds Tycon. As Full Sense try to get D and Supers out of this lobby.
I mean, remember how Vicious got here. They took the E pickup. They got one of their players knocked by a red zone upon arrival, and now they are in great position to cause problems with Thanadol. He's got that MG3 in hand, and he is making it sing as he finds 2 of Supers. Supers now down to just human.
AGL not happy with that one, but they're going to be ending up on 61 points, and in my book, that's absolutely safe for finals. Now, DN Super is trying to make the most of it, but they're out in 9th place, and is that going to be enough? 53 points here. I'm not certain that's going to be enough for the cutoff. Dogmai finds lots of points onto Full Sense as well, as Vicious have had a great day 1 for their first showing here at Esports World Cup.
Hell of a performance from them as Thanadol. Now the last player left up here for Full Sense. 60 points for them today, or for them overall as well. Gotta imagine they're feeling pretty comfortable. Would love to be able to get a little bit more here if possible. That may be asking too much versus Vicious just in perfect position here. And there's not much Thanadol can do, and he will go down at the end to Simon T.
Oh, this 55 to 60 points cutoff. That's going to be so many teams. The mid-pack is going to be packed tomorrow. But now look at this. As you mentioned, Tiggleton, 6 kills. Gustav 1 here. The last 2 Flying Falcons. They have the north side. They could get a little bit more out of this one here. Potentially placements, but also the kills. Petrogorod still hunkering down in the middle. Is it going to be enough, though? They're 4 alive, Poro. I'm not sure. Some teams are going to drive up and pull up straight on top of them.
There you go. Petrogorod, I-26 V6 will find December 12th as Gen.G tried to make the send. And there's just not anything for them to do here. Nons, you can see, is just getting pressed from all sides. He's going to go down to Soul from Gen.G from range. It's just now taking damage from Gen.G. Gen.G kind of coming alive here late as well. They really need to. Only 21 points on the day for them so far, but they are in a good position to try to get some damage done playing from the south.
Utilities being deployed now. I-26 trying to get that flush onto him. Gustav finds Dogmite. That's a good point to secure Falcons. 8 kills, top 7 for them. Great game. It's going to be enough. 34 points here. They're in 16th place with only 6 games played. That's fantastic.
Yeah, no, you're never upset about that. I think 35 points around that after 6 games. That's about average. That's what you would hope for. No matter how you go about getting it, it's going to put you in good position for tomorrow. All you got to do is hope that you maybe get a little bit of luck and a few more kills going your direction. But look at that leaderboard. All the bottom half of it right now are the teams that are still left alive as we get to see a little bit of that trigonometry in action. The back-to-back knocks onto Tai Lu.
That was insane.
Lion's share of that damage, and he immediately pops up, finds one dragon. It's been the Tiggleton show for the Falcons. We'll see if they can keep it going as the circle will abandon them. They're going to continue playing around on the north from the edge. It looks like they've spotted out Suze.
Oh, is that a C4? It's a C4. They're going to be driving that straight onto Petrogorod here. Take's going to be waiting a little bit for it, then driving it forward, and then rolling it down onto Petrogorod. That might have quite the impact. Gustav finds Suze. That is Gen.G out. And now they're into the top 6. Look at this. It's chasing him. It's going to get I-26 down. Exactly what Petrogorod was hoping for not to be happening. Hackator steals the kill away, though.
Oh, still got grenades left. That's going to be right in their pocket. Gustav, perfect throw from him to ruin Petrogorod's chances. They're down to just 1 player. Chewy nowhere near, but Falcons needs to make sure that they can secure these points, these so important points. Chewy alive via the grace of the smoke, but Virtus, you can see Vicious looking over in their direction. Gen.G looking over in their direction, and Tiggleton and Gustav now the dangerous, deadly duo coming from the north, causing so much problem.
Chewy trying to fend off this, but Pau has a P90. He's going to be able to survive for just a little bit longer. If Chewy goes down, it's just going to be the 2 kills going the way of Falcons. They are first knock, though, so it's going to take 100 seconds.
And when is NAVI going to get active here? They've got 4 kills so far, but they're 4 alive playing from the eastern side. They have not really started to wrap around and get involved in all of this. Simon T will go down to the blue zone. Powell, the last player left alive. You can see he's got that P90. There you go, Tiggleton. Add another one to the count. 12 total for Falcons, but Gustav has gone down. And he even go for the res at this point as now NAVI has started to activate. They're going to go down to the south and deal with Gen.G.
Boostic finds Hackator with the car. That's so unfortunate. Maybe the rest is going to be able to happen here. Powell finds Gustav. That's going to alert Tiggleton. Maybe he can get another point and a kill. And look at that. He finds the point from the placement and a kill onto Powell from Vicious. Tiggleton, what a game for him so far. 1-man army for Team Falcons right now as Bean will get spotted out by a nicely placed grenade from Spyro. Navi back up to 4 strong after that unfortunate incident with the vehicle. Hollow, my bad, still involved here as well. He could pop up and get involved at any moment. Navi sending Spyro down to the south side, playing around the edge to see if he can find any angles, but Gen.G are dug in. It's not going to be easy to spot them out. Tiggleton alone on the northwestern side here. Actually backfilling the Gen.G position could be huge for him. He could get more points out of it. Still 1 Vitality solo, still Tiggleton solo, but he's locked in.
Let's see what Gen.G is dealing with. Soul, a grenade in hand, waiting for that inevitable push from Navi. Meanwhile, Tiggleton has just been going ape on this northern side.
P90 now.
He's got a P90, because why not? Why not give a P90 to the guy that is just absolutely farming? But this is what we're dealing with on the top of this hillside with the new destructible terrain. Even